One of the most common things we see people overanalyze all the time is the campaign structures within the account. We see this with advertisers we're helping consult with. We see this with offers that we either end up working with or just audit on a sales call about. And really in general, across the board, one of the biggest questions we see in the industry is how do you structure campaigns? And so in this video, we're going to break down where most go wrong when structuring campaigns, how to think through campaign structures, as well as best practices. And again, this is specific to Facebook, but a lot of the principles that we'll talk about applies to, generally speaking, any ad platform that you work with within the confines of how campaigns are structured. Right away, where do most people go wrong? Number one problem is overthinking. People believe that for some reason there is some magical fucking campaign structure that's going to change the entire way that their business operates. Some structures are better than others, but do not let campaign structures hinder your ability to run ads. Sometimes you just need a consulting call to get gut checked on what you're currently doing, because obviously if I'm spending $100 a day, it's going to be very different than if I'm spending $5K a day on paid ads. And the campaign structures will reflect that. But again, the biggest problem I see is overthinking. It's like people think that advertising is this, if I do this thing right in the ad account, I will win. When at the end of the day, it comes down to your messaging, it comes down to your budget, comes down to the goal. There are all these different things inside of a campaign that dictate the outcome and the performance that honestly are greater than and more important than the structure. When you think about campaign structures, all I want you to focus on, and all we tell clients to focus on, is what is the outcome I'm looking for? What is the goal I'm looking for? And how much control do I want over the account? Now, in most situations, you're going to want to trust the platform. Trusting the platform over your own brain is the best way to go, because take Facebook, for example. Facebook has 52,000 data points for every single individual. Facebook manages millions of dollars a month on paid ads, if not billions a month, versus you. 9 times out of 10, you have no idea what you're doing. And even if you do know what you're doing, you're still managing a fraction of what Facebook has data on. Best way to describe this is think about Tesla as a company. I was in an Uber the other day and I was talking to the Uber driver, and somehow we got on the topic of self-driving cars, Waymos, Tesla, all these things. And what was fascinating is he goes, yeah, I trust a self-driving car more than I trust myself. For a second, it caused me to have a visceral reaction and go, whoa, what do you mean? And as he began to explain, it became very, very clear to me, because Tesla has over 8 billion miles on the road. It is impossible for any human to come remotely fucking close to that. I don't even know if most people cross 1 million miles in their life. Like a truck driver may touch that number. Realistically, I don't even think that's possible. So just focusing on that, you should trust Tesla more than you should trust yourself, because they have 8 billion miles to your 200,000. So you drive 10,000 miles a year for 20 years. There's no comparison. There is absolutely none. The same thing goes for the platform. In 99% of situations, trust the platform to do the work. Trust that the platform knows how to best get you results. They're incentivized to get you results too. Remember, they want you to keep spending money with them. If they don't get you results, you wouldn't spend money, and therefore they don't make any money. Very, very simple. So that's the underlying truth of all of this, is trust the platform over yourself. With that being said, best way to structure a campaign if I have no idea what I'm doing is a CBO, campaign budget optimization. All this is this means if I have an ad set with ad 1, ad 2, ad 3. I've got all these ads, and then I've got multiple of them. Ad 2, ad 3. Facebook, when it's under campaign budget, is going to say, let's say I give it $1,000 a day. It's going to say, what is the best way to distribute this? Do I give 200 here and 800 here? Do I flip it? What do I do? Facebook is going to make that call in terms of how it's structured. So again, we're biasing towards the platform with a CBO. With an ABO, it's very, very similar, except instead of setting it at the campaign level, I set it here. So I can say 500 here and 500 here. And now I know that these ads are going to get the $500 in spend. And then Facebook will determine what the best ad is. Very, very simple. But again, it all depends on your level of trusting the platform. Now, there are very specific use cases where you will want to bias towards using your own noggin. And 9 times out of 10, the way that we leverage this is messaging tests. Let's say the people that come through our business are either very, very underqualified or very overqualified, and it's pretty random. It's all over the place. We don't know why it's happening. What we like to do inside of our agency is begin to segment. We'll run an ABO and we'll segment. Ad set 1 is message 1. Ad set 2 is message 2. And then we'll distribute even amounts of spend to each. When spend is evenly distributed, we get 50% good leads, 50% bad leads, which then tells us, okay, ad set 1, shitty, let's kill this. Now our good leads is going to go up to 100%. And then we can test the next message 3. And maybe it becomes, 75% good leads and 25% bad. Then we know, okay, some of the messaging in here works, so let's let it ride if it brings our cost down and if it makes sense financially. But again, what we're doing with ABO is we're just testing for different messaging. Now, you can do this, what we always recommend for everything, and I think there was a guy that posted recently about doing 1 ad set per ad and was spending like $1 million a month on paid advertising. We've never spent that on one account, so take that with a grain of salt. But a lot of people I know who have don't like this because of the amount of leverage you put on the human brain and the amount of risk that you take on intrinsically rather than just trusting the platform. Typically, what we recommend doing is for each ad set, having at least 4 to 5 ads, because it allows the ad set to say, cool, it's one of these. Now, the key to this again is we want to make sure that the message is the same for all of these. We're just seeing which ad is the best performer. Once we've proven whichever message works best, so let's say it's message 2, and we go to start scaling campaigns, typically what we will then do is just make a CBO and put all of the highest performing ads in. Ad set 1, 2, 3, and again, these are all proven to perform. So message 1 performs, maybe message 6 performs, and maybe message, 9 performs. All we're gonna do is just slap them in a CBO and then just scale it as aggressively as we can before we hit that ceiling and we put it to the side, restart the process, restart finding the good messaging. That's it. Very, very simple. This is kind of blended a bit, but the way I want you thinking through this is if Facebook has been getting me a good result, then I'm going to continue to trust Facebook. If Facebook has been giving me a bad result, I need to go diagnose what that problem is. Therefore, I will use a structure like this, and I will force spend to 2 ad sets to figure out if it's message 1 or message 2 that's the problem. I can always use UTMs as well. That's another method, but we've just found this easier. Personal preference. Again, none of this really matters at the end of the day as long as you're getting results. But that's really it in terms of thinking through it. Now, in terms of best practices, and this is arguably the most important part of this entire video, being right doesn't matter. Making money does. For so long, I'd be scavenging YouTube for videos on campaign structures. I'd be hounding mentors for campaign structures, thinking that something was going to change my entire business. And in this video, I could have gone through targeting best practices. I could have gone through how to script the ads. I could have gone through the settings inside of the ad account. I could have gone through all of these things. But all this will cause you to do is put up guardrails, say this way or the highway, and I fuck myself. All I want you to do, if you're a little confused here, you can book a call, you can speak to myself or a member of the team. But all we want you to do is spend time testing against what you believe. So follow some of these very simple best practices. Start with a CBO, see how it performs. If a CBO performs like shit, break it out into ad sets, figure out where the messaging problem is, or just use UTMs, figure that out. Once I've done that, I figured out what works, go back to CBO, start scaling it. Very straightforward. And when I'm scaling, I'm going to take a percentage of my budget. I'm just going to test against it. Does this campaign structure perform better? It does? Cool. We're going to scale that up. Couple? Cool. We're going to scale that up. Most important thing here is if something works, don't turn off. If something is working inside of the ad account, do not turn it off because you think you can get better results. I do not care. It works. I don't care if you think the ads are ugly. I don't care if you're pissed at your agency for creating some shitty ad creative. You're like, oh, it doesn't represent the brand. Do you care more about your brand or making money? Because unless you're doing 50 million a year, brand, yeah, it's important to a certain extent, but let's bias towards revenue driving actions. Do not turn off stuff that works. Scale it as much as you can, find the ceiling, keep it running as long as you can. There is no reason for you to kill an ad that's performing. Last thing, just a couple pro tips. Make sure cost caps are on. There's another video on my channel where I break this down a little bit further in a live consulting call on structuring ad accounts. You can check that out. It's gonna be somewhere. If you don't see it, just go to the channel and watch it. Cost caps are super, super important. All you're doing with those is seeing where the threshold is. So sometimes I'll let the account run wild and then I'll put the cost cap on to see how low I can get it without it just throttling spend altogether. So make sure you have cost caps on or you're prepped to add cost caps. Other thing, do video ads or image ads and ad set. Do not run video and images in the same ad set. It's going to cause cannibalization to happen, or the ads are going to cannibalize themselves, meaning because image ads are usually cheaper, Facebook will begin biasing towards the image ads and it may bring in shittier quality leads. Or you're just going to neglect high performing video ads and you'll never know. They'll just kind of get thrown to the wayside. You're like, oh, that was dog shit. When in reality, it would have been great if it was just in its own ad set. So that's the other thing that we bias towards, something we've seen inside of accounts. Last one, 3-day, 72-hour test cycles. There's a video on this page about making decisions, how to pivot when business contracts or when ad accounts contract. So go watch that. Generally speaking though, 3-day, 72-hour rule, depending on your level of spend. Most of you watching this video probably aren't spending enough for you to shorten that cycle. But realistically, all this really means is you need a certain amount of data before you can then make a decision. So just make sure, again, you have a certain length of test cycle. You don't get over emotional. At scale with these higher ticket things too, it's very, very common for you to go really good results, fucking no results, mediocre results, crazy results all in a week. And when you even it out, everything performs well. So when you have that day where you get horrible results or where you get no results, holding out to then go into the next day and make sure everything's fine. Because again, there's volatility in business. It's how the world works. Other than that, guys, I mean, hopefully this video helps you in terms of understanding campaign structures. I know we covered a lot. If you have any questions, just book that call. You can speak to myself or a member of my team about helping on the consulting side or running the ads for you. If you like more content like this, hit that like button, comment what you want to see next, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one.